That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, couldn't remember
Eco
that.
anxiety.
Eco anxiety. Yeah, it's like a legit thing.
That's
Yeah,
People
interesting.
start like learning more about climate change, and they're terrified that it's going to like ruin the world. It's going to be this cataclysmic event, and especially the way the news portrays it and things that are happening. And you look at look at these graphs and everything. It's like, oh, carbon dioxide emissions are more than they've ever been in a million years on this planet. And it's like, what? We can't change that. How are we going to possibly stop, manufacturing plastic?
My name's Chris. I'm here with Brielle and Todd. We're from the Rutgers Center for Math, Science, and Computer Education. And we're here to tell you a little bit about today about some of our course offerings and some of our professional development opportunities that you can take advantage of through our center.
Morning. I'm Brielle, and Todd, if you want to just give us a little bit of what you can offer with some different PD that you have done and that are willing to do for us, that would be fantastic.
Sure thing. Yeah, so I'm Todd Menadier. I was a classroom teacher for about 13 years, working with districts across the state of New Jersey and elsewhere, helping develop green programs around sustainability, green energy, engineering, climate change. And with the new climate change standards that are coming out across New Jersey, Rutgers is happy to offer a number of different opportunities for schools K through 12 to help their teachers develop projects, programs, curriculum, develop lessons, whatever it is that you're looking for to address these new climate standards. If you're not aware of them, they are coming out across the board. And by that, I mean, it's no longer just for STEM areas. So we're not just talking about climate change standards for science or math. We're looking at climate change standards for everything from visual and performing arts to world languages and everything in between. So your teachers might be a little bit confused about this. How does it fit into their particular academic areas? And so that's where we're here to help. We can help design some projects for them. We can help them to understand the topic in a little bit more detail, and then help them relate the topic back to their particular areas, and then bring something that's going to be really useful for their students and valuable for their classrooms. So the standards themselves are coming out, kind of rolling out. So they're looking to get this coming year right now, actually, in visual performing arts, science, which has already had some standards associated with it, world languages, and then if you're teaching anything around career readiness, life skills, literacy, in those areas, especially related to CTE tracks. So we're looking forward to starting that this year. If you haven't done anything yet, let us know and we can help you out. Coming next year, that's when they're getting into health and phys ed, social studies, and then computer science and design thinking standards. So we also offer our own particular curriculum around our own particular projects and professional development. Will help tie in the climate change standards to those areas as well.
That's great. Thanks so much, Todd. And I assume this is something that could be done in person as well as remote this year?
Yeah, it's easy to do either way. It's we like to provide very specific professional development to those districts that are looking for, they already kind of know what they want. They already know their culture, their school, and their students. So if you're in that situation, we can come into your school. We can work with you directly. We can also do it remote if you want. And then we also offer like general requirements, right? So if you're still kind of like new to this, just getting some ideas, and you don't really know exactly what you want for your particular district, we'll offer opportunities for anyone across the state to kind of join us and have conversations about this and figure out what might be best, and then we can take it from there if you want us to come in or do a virtual program specifically for your district.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's one of the other things that I should point out too is this is new for high school programs, right? But one of the things that we always want to do as high school teachers or any kind of teacher for that matter is like prepare them for the next level, right? It's already very prevalent among like colleges and universities, right? Like Rutgers in particular, like we have a climate action committee, we have a task force, we've signed the president's climate action policy. So there's things that are happening at higher education levels that our students should be like ready for it and be prepared for. And so it's really important for us to kind of get them prepared for it while they're still in high school, so that they can be more involved when they get into the next level.
Yeah, it's neat you mentioned that, Todd. I think that Rutgers was just awarded a $20 million NSF grant.
Right. Yeah. Interestingly enough, they announced it right on the heels of Hurricane Ida with the flooding across New Brunswick too. So it's it's an important thing. It's a valuable thing. It's something that we're facing. It's a global challenge that we're facing. It's something that our students should be very aware of.
And probably some of them even got affected by the hurricane as well, with the schools,
Exactly.
some of them with the flooding.
Yep. And so from a state perspective too, not only is it happening across like the universities, but there's also a lot of policies that are happening in accordance with this as well. So New Jersey is leading the way, not just in these sustainability standards, which is the first state who's actually requiring these across the board, but they're also implementing a lot of legislation that's going to help mitigate climate change. So we've set pretty aggressive goals to reach by 2050, for example. We're looking to reduce our carbon emissions by 80% of the 2006 level. We're looking to get 100% clean energy by 2050 as well. So we're going to see a lot more electric vehicles on the road, a lot more solar. There's wind turbine farms that are coming up across the state, especially off the coast. So there's a lot of things that are happening that our students should be aware of, not only because they're physically changing the landscape of our environment, but also because there's careers available for them. There's a lot of opportunities for them to get involved with this. And it is, essentially changing the infrastructure of the state as well as the region in terms of the way that we generate electricity, especially. So lots of great things happening, a lot of really cool opportunities for students, and a lot of things that teachers and students should know about. So we're here to help navigate that road and figure out great ways that you can influence your students in this way.
That's cool. And I think of the state of New Jersey, I think about how being on the coast, there's no shortage of climatic events that no matter what age you are, you can think back to how you may have been affected by a certain storm or a hurricane. And as well with all the different various geographies and regions of New Jersey from north to south. I think we get quite a varied climate for a small state. And when it comes to this climate, all these climate change standards, putting this stuff into the context of the real world problems that kids and parents and schools and communities are actually experiencing over the last decade, and using those incidents as phenomena to try to understand the science and what's occurring, and then finding the real world problems and the issues that reside around that science, and especially just right here in the state, and using that stuff to kick off problem-based, project-based learning.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Cool, man.
Yeah. And we can offer it in a way too, where, we do it in a very optimistic approach, right? Because the other problem with this is a lot of students they come across this challenge of like, there's no possible solution to this, right? It's just like this fear-based learning, and that becomes an issue, and it strikes a lot of anxiety within people. And so helping them understand that, like, yes, there is a problem, but you are in fact a part of the solution, and here are some things that we can do, is the approach that we would take. So that way they feel more empowered in solving the problem, as opposed to just like learning about it, right? Like we want to stress that there are solutions, and it's not just a problem that we're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, like there's these wicked problems that are big overarching things that, sure, we're not going to fix climate change overnight with one piece of curriculum, but within those wicked problems are thousands of measurable problems and sub problems that can become part of curriculum.